All right, think that there's no such thing as a sure thing in investing? Well, I did too, and then I found TBIL. It's the only stock I've seen that climbs like clockwork. Not sexy, not flashy, just wins every single day. Don't believe me? Well, let me show you something. You see that? That's not some cherry-picked time frame or market anomaly. That's TBIL's actual performance, day after day, week after week. It just keeps going up. So what kind of stock is this? Well, TBIL is a short-term treasury ETF. Basically, it's backed by the US government. It's probably the lowest risk stock you could possibly buy, which is exactly why Wall Street doesn't want you to know about it. See, most people think trading stocks is like gambling. It's unpredictable, it's emotional, and it is stressful, and you might get lucky once in a while. But more often, it is just volatility, stress, and sleepless nights. Well, at least that's what your financial advisor wants you to believe. He might have told you that you should not do it on your own, that it is risky and you should leave it to the professionals. Well, TBIL proves that completely false, because it's not some hype-driven meme stock. It's a short-term treasury ETF that trades like clockwork. It's not gambling, it's math. And anyone can do it. And this matters to you because if you have been putting off investing because the stock market seems too risky or chaotic, this changes everything. Because TBIL shows you that you can trade without stress, without emotion or fear, especially when you use smart, systematic thinking instead of guesswork. Now, I need to clarify something super important. Here is the actual chart of TBIL. Now, you might notice TBIL doesn't rise in a perfectly straight line. In fact, it chart moves in a zigzag pattern, right? So wait. What's going on here? Well, let me explain. The reason why the chart looks like this is simple. TBIL pays a monthly dividend. And every time a dividend is paid, the stock usually drops by the exact amount of that payout. This is normal behavior for any dividend-paying asset. So what is this chart that only goes up I'm talking about? Well, this is called a total return chart or a dividend-adjusted chart. And these show the total return of an investment, including dividends paid out in addition to the stock price appreciation. Let me give you an example. Say TBIL trades at $50 and pays a 17 cents dividend. On the ex-dividend date, the price drops by 17 cents to $49.83. But you receive a 17-cent dividend payment into your account. So even the stock is now worth $49.83, you got the 17 cents in your account is still worth $50. And TBIL now starts climbing again by about 17 cents until the next dividend is paid. So the net effect, even though the stock zigzags up and down, your account value is climbing consistently. Now, I must admit, if you have never traded dividend-paying ETFs or stocks before, this might take a minute to wrap your head around, so feel free to rewatch this section. But in a nutshell, as you can see, your account is steadily going up. And to see this clearly, you can toggle on the total return chart or dividend-adjusted chart in your charting software. Now, you might be wondering, how much can you actually make with TBIL? Well, TBIL currently yields around 4.65%. I know, it's not flashy, but it's better than most savings account or CDs, especially given the liquidity and daily visibility. Because if you're holding $50,000 in a savings account for, let's say, emergency or upcoming tax payments, you could make more than $13,000 in a few years without locking it up. It's predictable, consistent, and beats inflation. And when you're just starting to move from a cash hoarder to strategic investor, that's the perfect first win. And this is why TBIL fits perfectly into my SRC method. It is systematic, repeatable, and consistent. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Let me tell you about my friend Dan. You see, Dan was terrified of the stock market, especially with everything that's going on. High inflation, high interest rates, uncertain economy, and the possibility of maybe a crash. So Dan kept everything in a high yield savings account, earning just a few percent, because he had been burned before trying to pick stocks, and he swore that he'd never invest in equities again. Sound familiar? Well, I showed Dan TBIL last year, just like I'm showing you now. And he put $10,000 in it, just to test it, right? And every morning he's checking his account and he's smiling because every single day his account just keeps ticking up. No drama, no crashes, no stress, just steady, reliable growth. And you see, that's why I call T-bill an emotional detox. Because if you want to make more money with stocks, you can learn more advanced strategies like the wheel strategy or the win the fear strategy. But before you do that, you need to detox from the fear that has been programmed into you. And you see, T-bill helps you to doing that by being boring, but in the best possible way. Because every time Dan opened his account and saw T-bill ticked up again, it reinforced the message. This doesn't have to be scary. And T-bill is better than your bank account in every measurable way. And it is more liquid than a CD because with T-bill, there's no lockups or penalties. And it has a higher yield than most of these so-called high yield savings accounts. And it's just as accessible because you can buy it through any brokerage account. So the bottom line, T-bill is a stock that you can own and forget about it and still wake up richer. You want to try it for yourself? Well, here's how to get started in 2 easy steps. I promise. It takes less than 10 minutes. Number 1, first, open a brokerage account if you don't have already one, right? And you can use Robinhood or Fidelity or Charles Schwab. It really doesn't matter. All of these are free and all of them support T-bill. Now, a pro tip, if you already have a retirement or taxable account or any brokerage account, you can buy T-bill inside either one. Step number 2, now search for the ticker TBIL and buy it like any other stock. It just trades like Apple or Tesla, except without all of the drama. And you can start with as little as $100 and just trade 2 shares. Just click buy and you're done. So you want to test the waters? Well, here's a quick win you can try today. Just take a small portion of your emergency fund, maybe 10 or 20% of what's just sitting in your savings account and move that into T-bill. You're not locking it up. You're not taking a risk. You're just testing the water. And then check it after a week. You'll likely see a small, steady growth without all of the volatility, without all of the fear. And that's when you realize this is what your savings account was supposed to feel like. No hype, because that's what real wealth building is all about. It's not about gambling on the next meme stock. It's not paying fees to some advisor in a fancy suit. It's just systematic, repeatable processes that grow your wealth while you live your life. That is the SRC method in action. And T-bill is the perfect place to start. And you see, whenever you're ready for the next step, consider trading strategies like the wheel strategy. You'll find videos on how to use this strategy here on my channel. Even if you don't, at least consider T-bill for the cash that you have sitting idle. Because T-bill is an ETF you can own and forget about it and still wake up richer. Does this make sense? I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, then share it with somebody who might find this helpful. There's a share button somewhere here on the page, and then I'll see you in the next video.